Well, good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us here today. It is October the 22nd, and we are live here every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show, hosted by our friends at Luminate Home Loans and Luminate Bank. Today, we're going to have in studio Mike Overson, of course, hosted by Scott Wollmering of the We Team, the Minnesota Real Estate Team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus, and I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Good morning to you. Happy to have you joining us wherever you might be catching us on social media. Thanks for joining us. We've got a great show, fun show today. We always welcome your questions, comments, thoughts. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us by phone or by text. 612-294-6949. We're here from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. live every Saturday. A lot to talk about in the first segment here about the real estate market, the mortgage market. Good morning, Scott. Good to see you, bud.
Yeah, good to be here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Love to have your comments throughout the show. 612-294-6949 is how you can text us or call into the show, or you can just write on the feed on Facebook, and we'll handle them as they come in. We're going to cover everything, like Ryan said, that we always do in the real estate market, mortgage market. We always like to have a fun question for the show that's kind of non-real estate related. The one today is, if you could spend a day with anyone dead or alive, who would that person be? So that's kind of the question through the show. So you can type in your answers or text them to us, whatever you like.
Yeah, good morning to those again joining us. Good morning, Kareem. Thanks for joining us. Looks like on LinkedIn. Again, wherever you might be joining us from, thanks so much. It's a fun show. It's interactive. We welcome questions, comments, thoughts. We've got Steve Groen, who's also going to be on air from Standard Water. He's our partner for this week. All of our partners are at mnrealestateshow.com. But we're going live on air right now. Thanks again for tuning in. That's Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Hey, good morning and welcome to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thank you for joining us and hope the day is starting off well. October the 22nd, 2022, and we're live here at Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130 every Saturday morning for the Minnesota Real Estate Show. It's hosted by our friends at Luminate Home Loans, Luminate Bank. Today in studio, we're going to have Mike Overson. Of course, Scott Wollmering of the We Team, the Minnesota Real Estate Team, RE/MAX Advantage Plus, and I'm Ryan O'Neill with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and RE/MAX Advantage Plus. Thank you for joining us. Whether it's Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130, or you're catching us anywhere on social media throughout the show, we welcome questions, comments, thoughts. 612-294-6949 is how you can join us. By phone or by text, or you can comment on the social media stream. Got some nice comments coming in. Good morning to Kareem. Good morning to our friend Jeff Peterson. Jeff's an awesome 1031 expert. He's asking about how interest rates are impacting sales in inventory. A lot to talk about today, but good morning to you, Scott.
Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Like Ryan said, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We are live and local here in Golden Valley to the top of the hour. Love your comments throughout the show. Like Ryan said, 612-294-6949. You can call that number, you can text that number, and we will handle your question. Speaking of questions, we always have a fun question of the day that's non-real estate related. The one for today is, if you could spend the day with anyone dead or alive, who would that person be? So that you can text us at that, or you can call in with your answer, or you can reply on the feeds.
Good question. Lots of stuff to talk about in the first segment here, and we will dive right in first from a real estate standpoint. And again, comments, questions, please don't hesitate to join us. But Scott, as we look at activity, so the Mortgage Bankers Association shared a stat this week that they said mortgage application activity nationwide recently dropped to its lowest pace in 25 years, with purchase and refinance applications down considerably compared to this time last year. So how is that affecting, again, when we look at listings in the Twin Cities? So homes for sale, new homes for sale in the Twin Cities down almost 17%, Scott. So 1,260 new properties that came onto the market. Pending sales or accepted purchase agreements down, again, very significantly, like the last few weeks, down 40% year over year. There were 812 accepted purchase agreements. And then the overall inventory of homes for sale is slightly increasing, not too much, but 8,959 homes for sale in the Twin Cities. And the last number we'll share here, Scott, is the average days on market. And so we were talking a little bit before the show, back when we did the Minnesota Real Estate Show back in 2009, the average days on market was 162. Okay, Scott, in 2011, the average days on market was 160 days. 2014, still about 100. 2019, about 70. And right now we're at 32.
Yeah.
So it has increased. It has increased from last year, which it was 23. So it's interesting. There's just not much inventory out there, Scott. The market time is increasing. Sellers are seeing stuff sit a little longer. Any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, we're not telling anybody anything that they don't know. If you've listened to the show over the last few months, what's happened to our market is just shock. I've never seen. I've been doing this for 23 years, and I've never seen interest rates double in a 90-day period. During a time where we're in an inflationary market, we had appreciating properties at about 15% a year over the last 2 years, and it came on so quickly. And so when you combine that with a housing refinance boom, where people are locked in at 2.8%, and then you go from 2.8% to 7%, and all experts are saying that that might even increase a little bit more, people just put the brakes on it. And that's what we're feeling. Because numbers-wise, we should be in a 15 to 20 offers on every listing you put in. Numbers, 9,000 homes on the market is nothing. I mean, that's what we had. We had 7,500 at the beginning of the year, where we're getting 25, 30 offers on everything because interest rates were at that number.
Yep.
So it's just a combination of all those factors have had people just pump the brakes.
Yeah.
And that's what we're feeling.
Yeah, and again, it was so quickly how it happened. I think that's part of it too, is, as agents, mortgage professionals, everyone in the real estate industry the last couple of years, you got used to a certain type of market. And for a lot of agents that maybe they've been in the industry for 2 years or less. And so they're kind of saying, well, what's going on here? What's the deal? And Scott, it shows, really in some sense how a lot of the big kind of macro conditions can affect so many different things.
That's right.
Interest rates, the Federal Reserve,
401ks disappearing, cost of gas, cost of groceries, and it all happened in a condensed time period.
Right.
And, and if you think about it logically, if you are someone that normally would enjoy the fun of real estate, hey, I want to sell my house and I want to buy a bigger one for my family, and you're sitting at a 2.8% rate and you're going to be going to a 7% rate, those people are going to sit tight and they're going to watch what's going to happen. Now, there are some experts that are saying they think rates are going to climb into the 8s. And there's also Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Wells Fargo, the National Association of Realtors that believe that we're going to hit a recession and that we're going to actually drop back into the low 5s
right.
to mid 5s.
Yeah.
The good news is, there is still always an advantage no matter what market you're in.
Yeah.
The advantage right now is seller pay closing costs are back. People are buying at interest rates down. People have equity in their home now, so they have some slush money, to be able to negotiate. So if you're at a 7% rate, you want to buy that rate down to 5% for the first year and so on, you can do that. So the doors don't have to be shut.
Yeah.
There's always conditions in any market you're in.
Yeah, it's a good analysis. And again, we're going to have Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans, Luminate Bank, be joining us here in studio to share things regarding an interest rate standpoint. So it is, and Scott, I think the hard thing sometimes for agents to understand is, again, they'll have a listing on the market for 7 days or 10 days, and it's not sold.
Yeah.
And it's hard because if you're used to, again, getting 40 offers, you're like, well, why is the listing not sold? And things are that they're getting a little bit back to normal, where people can breathe a little bit. That can actually take time in most cases to submit an offer, to have a home inspection. There's negotiation happening on purchase agreements, and even when you look at what's interesting, Scott, percentage of original list price received. We're still in September right now. Last year, it was a little over 100%. So in other words, with the multiple offers and everything, we were over 100%. But right now, Scott, it's showing at 98.9.
Yeah.
And so a lot of cases, there's some negotiation happening, which is encouraging.
It is, and this is the most important time to, again, be working with a really good real estate agent. When they're doing a market analysis on your house and telling you what it's worth, they can't be using the normal go back 6 months.
Yeah.
They need to be going back 30 days.
Right.
Because that's the real number. 6 months, I know everything in the media said we haven't really dropped that much in value yet. Yes, we have. If you were selling your house in March and you're selling it now, you're getting 10 to 15% less for it than you did in March. So you need to be looking at the numbers currently with what your value is. And then it's a very fast market. I just put one on last week. It would have been probably 475 in March.
Sure.
We put it on for 450. We had four showings in 2 days, and we had 2 offers, and they got their 450.
Nice.
And you move on.
Right.
Where if they would have gone to 500, they would still be sitting there.
Right.
And they would get less than their 450. And so pricing is extremely, extremely important right now.
Yeah, Jeff, hopefully that answers the question a little bit and thank you for joining us wherever you might be on social media. Looks like Jeff's on LinkedIn this morning. He just said, how are rates impacting sales and inventory? Mike, good morning. Mike Overson, Luminate Home Loans. Nice to see you, buddy.
Good morning, Ryan. Glad to be here.
Before the break, just a quick snapshot. Interest rates, where are they right now?
Does it matter? Are people talking about that these days for some reason?
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So I mean, we're in the mid sevens now. So low to mid sevens right now with no points.
Okay.
You can certainly pay discount points and buy that rate down. We spoke a lot about that recently. A lot of information flying around about that on how you skin that cat. After the break comes over, I'm going to explain why the next 3 months that we're going into here is going to be the best time to buy a house. If you look back 12 months and look forward 12 months, in that 24-month period, your best time to buy the house is going to be in the next 3 months. I'll explain why.
Geez, Mike, that's a radio teaser.
Yeah. You're on the edge of their seats now.
That's right.
Mike Overson, again, Luminate Home Loans, Luminate Bank, really good folks. They've got they had a kind of a feature of their office here in Golden Valley too. Wonderful people. Check them out online again, Luminate Home Loans and Luminate Bank. They are a bank here in the Twin Cities as well. Really good folks. Again, this is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Thanks for so many folks tuning in and joining us here today. Good morning, Shane. Thank you, Jeff, Kareem, a variety of folks. We appreciate you tuning in. We're here until 11 o'clock. Welcome your questions, comments, thoughts, and want to say good morning as well to, again, Mike and Steve. Good to see you guys.
Good to be back.
Good to see you, Ryan.
There was an accident on a Highway 100. I think I might have just been ahead of it, and log jam.
Oh, it's serious. It's backed up quite a ways.
Oh no!
Hopefully everybody's okay.
Yeah, hopefully everybody is. Everyone is okay. Again, Steve Groen is with Standard Water. Does an awesome job. And Mike, I know you're going to be talking a little bit more about rates, but Scott mentioned, all this interest rate buy down thing that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm. It makes a big difference. I mean, we've ran numbers up and down and sideways on this whole thing. You take a house and you take $20,000 off the price, it's going to save you X, right? $120, let's say. If you take that same 20 grand and you put it towards a rate buy down, now you're saving, $320 or $380 a month on that. And so if you run an amortization schedule and actually look at the amount of interest you pay over the life of that loan, you're even further ahead if you take the higher price house and the lower interest rate. I mean, you're talking, I ran a scenario on a $520,000 house versus a $540,000 house, right? So if you take the rate buy down, you're paying 120 grand less in interest over the life of the loan versus taking the lower price on the house but paying the higher interest rate. And so it just shows the power of the interest rate and how it works. Once people can see that, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
One thing I was going to mention too on social media, with this program we use to stream on all the different platforms, it's called Restream. And sometimes we can see your name in the comments, but in some cases we can't. So if we don't ever call out your name, that's why, that's what's going on there. I think you actually have to download the app or on your desktop, and that allows your name to be shown in the comments. So yeah. Anyway, that's what that is. It's just called Restream is the name of the program. But Scott, what's our question of the day?
Question of the day is, if you could spend the day with anybody living or dead, who would it be? So anybody you could be Jesus, or you could.
Are you starting us off?
Yeah, I can tell you. So for me, it is Tiger Woods.
Tiger
Yeah,
Woods.
so if I could spend a day playing golf with Tiger Woods, that'd be my guy.
Wow. Tell us more.
And I just think it would be cool to actually be able to just hang out with him, play golf with him, get some tips from him, and yeah, that would be.
Well, Mike and I'll go golfing with
Yeah,
you.
it'd be very similar.
Close second,
Very,
right?
very
Yeah,
similar. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Here we go. We're going back live on air. Yeah, welcome back to the Minnesota Real Estate Show. And thanks to Mr. Mike Dubs. You know him from K102. He comes in every Saturday to help us do the show. Thank you, Mike. Taking your weekends. He's a good man, hard worker, and we're grateful for Mike. Before we go to the teaser, Scott, we were just saying, say your question of the day again.
Yeah, the question of the day for everybody listening is if you could spend the day with anybody, a celebrity, dead or alive, who would that person be? So off air, I had told the people on social media, mine would be Tiger Woods. I'm a big golfer, and if I could spend an entire day having lunch with Tiger, having a couple drinks with Tiger, playing a little golf with Tiger, that would be it for me. So Tiger, if you're listening, I've got a pretty busy schedule. I said I've got a pretty busy schedule. My people can get with your people, and we'll get something set up.
Yeah, really. Just yeah. In fact, I work kind of as Scott's secretary, so I'll take the appointment and help you out.
Get it set up. Yeah.
Hey, Mike, you gave us such a nice teaser. Again, say the teaser and tell us what you got.
Yeah. So if you look back 12 months and you look forward 12 months, right? So you got that 24-month period. The next 3 months is going to be the best time to buy a house in that 24-month period. And here's why I say that. If we go back, the previous 12 months, specifically the end of 2021, early 2022, could you buy a house at list price? No, you had to go over list price in order to get your offer accepted.
Substantially over list.
20, 30. I mean, we had clients do 100 grand or more over on the list price.
I wrote 18, 40 to 60 and didn't get one.
One accept.
Yeah. And it was in that 400 price range. So
Right.
they were going 50 to 60 to 75 grand over.
Yep. Okay, so you had to go over list price. You couldn't get it at list price. You had to go way over. Could you get an offer accepted if you had a home inspection contingency on there?
No.
Very rare. It's very rare that they did that. Could you get the seller to pay any of your closing costs?
No.
No.
I think it was 6% on the inspections, and I think 4% on closing costs or something like that.
Could you get them to pay for a rate on mitigation? So
So-
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
really what I want.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what?
Yeah.
If it came up in the home inspection, if you were able to get one, which you probably weren't able to get one, so that no one knew that you would even need one at that point. But typically you could if you needed one. What's the other deal? Okay, could you go on a showing and then talk to your spouse about it and maybe run it by, if you're a first-time home buyer, maybe run it by your parents, maybe set up a second showing, go see that house again, and then make your offer?
No.
Okay, so this whole time during that 24-month period, we've seen inventory levels not change a whole lot. As low as about 5,100, as high as we are now, roughly 9,000.
Yep.
Right? We haven't broke 10,000, and I don't know if we will break 10,000 in the next 12 months. Okay, so the inventory levels hasn't changed this whole time. So the next 3 months, we're entering into a time where you can offer less than list price and have a good chance of getting the house. You can ask the seller to pay closing costs, and you might be able to get it. You can get a home inspection done right? You might be able to go on a showing and take a little bit of time and actually think about it before you make an offer on it. Once we get into the spring here again, right? So February, March, April comes along, what's going to happen? If interest rates do come down like everyone thinks they will, all those buyers jump back in the pool, and now you're multiple offers, you're offering over list price, you're not going to be able to get a home inspection, you're going to deal with all of that, right? So get your house in the next 3 months, you're going to get the best terms in that house. When rates do come down, you already got the house, just refinance to a low rate.
That's right. Well, and the other factor in that is and we talked about this on the show, if you run rates at 4.5% and rates at 7%, and you look at the value of the home that you would have had to have bought 6 months ago and what you pay for it, so let's make it an even number. So let's say you can buy it for $50,000 less. Your payment is basically the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the same, and you're not paying $50,000 more for a house. You're actually getting it at a value of what it's actually worth.
What about playing devil's advocate and just saying though, but guys, we are, you talked, Scott, about declining values. We're going to see a really significant drop in values.
See, I don't, it depends. I mean, if interest rates go to 8.5%, of course, we're going to see a drop in value until things, because it all becomes affordability, what you can actually afford in a payment. But if rates actually drop back into the low fives with our inventory level, we're not going to see values drop anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I call it 20%. I think we've dropped 20% in the meat and potato price range since the beginning of the year. And I think it's going to be leveled at that. The inventory is still low. I do believe, like Mike said, rates are going to come back to something, they're not going to go back to 3%. They don't need to. They can just get back to low fives, 5%, 5.5%. It'll be go ahead, Steve.
Why is inventory so low? I mean, there's apartments, we're looking out the window. There's piles of them being built everywhere. There's new construction that's been going on consistently. So what is driving the low inventory?
Yeah, I think one of the things that Scott mentioned is people that maybe have a good mortgage product, a lower rate on their current home, and they don't have enough of a oomph to move to another house, seeing that they're going to have to pay a higher interest rate on that. So Scott, I think one of the buckets is probably that, where people have a really good rate and they don't want to sell that and then have to go to another home at a higher interest rate.
Yeah, I call it the fun part of real estate is going to disappear for a while. I mean, there's always the
fun part.
Yeah, the fun part of, hey, I want to buy a bigger house, I want to get something newer. We've been in this house for 5 years and I want to do. That's the fun part of real estate. That's going to disappear for a while. There's always situational real estate, divorces, relocations, job transfers, etc. That is still going to happen. It's going to happen in any market. But if you're a husband and wife that refinanced your house at 2.8% and you're looking at now buying and going to 7.5%, that's going to probably disappear on the shelf here for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mike, you are in the first segment. We talked about mortgage applications being the lowest level in 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are obviously you're feeling that. Any
Yeah.
thoughts to share? I mean, on that?
You would definitely feel it. They're down 70% from this time last year.
Mm-hmm.
Which obviously there was huge refi boom. So we went. In the mortgage side of things, we went from the best mortgage market ever, right? Where the lowest rates, everyone's purchasing, everyone's refinancing. It's just you can't even handle the volume coming in. To the worst mortgage interest rate environment that I've been in my 18 years of doing loans.
Yeah.
So it's definitely slowed down. There's still people buying out there. There's still going to be sales happening and things like that. Obviously not to the level that they were, but I reiterate, it's if your objection is interest rate, a lot of times you get that seller to buy points, pay your discount points, buy your rate down. You go from a 7 down to a 5. Things change for you quite a bit down there.
That's right.
Mike's a sharp cookie, isn't he, Steve?
Very well spoken.
Thank you.
Hey, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, there's a lot of realtors who listen to this show, and sometimes you might feel down or whatever. And true in my business, if demand is down, but it's always an opportunity to step up competitively and do the right things. Some things take more work. This is a good time to do that and actually take market share.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you're right. I saw a thing. I think I sent it out to you and Kevin Curtis. They're losing 300 realtors a day in Las Vegas. I don't know what the numbers are here. I couldn't find anything. But whenever there's a market like this, when you go back to 2006, 2007, I think we lost 48% of the real estate agents, unfortunately, in that market. And people are going to feel the heat, because this isn't going to be next month. This is going to be 3, 4, 5 months before it settles in.
But if you're in it to win it and you're a realtor, it's good news. And you can tell the story. Hey, I never bailed. I've been here, fly by night.
I went out and had cocktails with a group of people I didn't know. I think I told the story a couple weeks ago. And one of the people asked me, they said, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a real estate agent. And she was like, oh my God, are you okay? You know, it's like everyone's like, you know, like petting me. Are you fine?
I think it's interesting though, Steve. Steve, your point is a really good one. It's probably why you've been as successful as you have with your companies and different things. Is a lot of it is just perspective, and I know that that's how I'm wired too. Is that it is a change. It's a hard change oftentimes for people. But again, you look at what you've done, and you've kind of dug in. You're a little more gritty. You've found ways to find market share to still help clients, and I think. You know, that's there's a lot of people obviously that got in the real estate industry for different reasons, and it probably will just continue to thin down to more of the professionals over time.
Yeah.
Got to wake up every day, give it your best shot.
Yeah.
Be positive, and you got to work your ass off too.
It's like Mr. Mike Overson.
Got to be consistent. Yeah, I mean, back in the 07, 08, there was 775,000 licensed loan officers. Coming out of that thing, there was 118,000.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting now, though, that there's actually equity. People have equity in their homes. And you have to remember when Scott said, okay, values have decreased, you have to look at how much they've increased.
That's right.
The last 3 years.
Yeah,
So it's kind of like the stock
that's
market.
right.
It's like, well, yeah, you know, and I don't know. I just think and obviously nobody likes when things go down like that, but you have to look at if you bought 3 years ago or 4 years ago, still how much you're up,
That's right.
even with the tick back and the slowdown. So it's just perspective.
And that's the biggest difference in this market setback versus the crash of 07 is nobody had any money in it. So when you lose 50% of the value in your house in a short period of time and you have no money in, and the banks won't work with you in adjusting your interest rate skyrocketing, people just walked in droves. We're not going to see that. Now on the West Coast, I just read an article about some bigger apartment developers, like an 800 unit building, a 400 unit building that just gave the keys back.
dang.
They just walked, you know, because rents are going down. You know, everything's affected by this.
Yeah, we're at the halfway point. Maybe we'll come back afterwards. Before the break, though, I've got a couple of listings I wanted to feature. One, Jen Brenning, awesome agent on the Minnesota real estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. She's got one, Mike. It's in St. Louis Park. It's 4013 West 31st Street, unit number 104 in St. Louis Park, listed for $425. And it is south facing. It's a 2-story. It's a move-in ready condo. Has 2 bedrooms, 2 baths, an office. The updates include luxury vinyl throughout most of the unit, kitchen backsplash, and a chandelier. Abundance of natural light makes this south-facing unit feel warm and inviting. There's secure heated parking with 2 dedicated spots, interior access. It's close to the lakes, the restaurants and shopping, all within walking or biking distance. And last but not least, Jen said, there's a storage unit for all your stuff, Mike, in the garage for your extra time. Check that one out again. It's $425, really nice looking condo, 4013 West 31st Street, unit number 104. And we'll hit a couple more after the break here. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Mike, we're having some questions about the buy down process. How much can sellers contribute for buy downs?
Depends on your loan type. With a conventional loan, it depends on your down payment too. So the minimum is 2%, or the lowest option is 2%. That's on investment properties.
Okay.
Otherwise, typically you're between 3 and 6% is the biggest bulk of most of the loan programs out there.
But if you're putting down 25% or more, can't you do up to 9%?
You can do 9.
Yeah,
Yeah.
9%.
Yeah. So the bulk is at 3 to 6%. So conventional loan with less than 10% down is 3%. A conventional loan of 10% to 24.99% down to 6%.
Have you
FHA
seen
will
that
do
though?
6.
That much? I mean, that's that, and I like the idea. It's a really good idea. And we've talked about it, how sellers, instead of, so again, if you're at 400,000 for the price, you offer, we'll do a $10,000 concession so you can buy down your rate. So basically, instead of asking 400, you're asking 390 for it. Are you seeing, do we see much of that?
Yeah, I just, I got one closing on Monday, VA deal, got 4% seller pays.
Yeah.
Did that exact same thing, got an FHA closing next Friday, same thing, we got 3% on that one. I got one in Chicago going on, conventional 5% down, got 3% from the seller on that one. So probably, this month, I would say 30 to 40% of the loans I'm doing, we got seller concessions. I imagine that number's gonna crawl up to probably 75% by the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. And the good news of this window also, and that's why I agree with Mike on, buying in the next 3 months is, so let's say you've got a seller that is standing firm at 400, and let's say the house is worth 400. So you could roll $415,000, having them pay $15,000 of your closing costs or buy downs, and be at that 400 number if that's what the house is worth, and not be in any fear of an appraisal. Because even though we do our market analysis tighter because we're looking at real value, appraisers go back 6 months.
Sure.
So the numbers that they can use on comps are going to always justify that home sale.
Yeah.
Steve Groen, Standard Water, is in studio with us today. Steve, have you seen any kind of tick back at all? I know you guys have been so busy. Have you seen the phone ringing less on your end?
So we have three pieces of our business: the waterproofing business, which is primarily dependent on weather. And it was a drought last year. Business slowed down. This year, we got rain in the spring, but it's low. I think Lake Minnetonka, third lowest level in the last, 30 years. It's really a low level right now. Radon mitigation, though, I'm getting more and more calls, and a requirement of the transaction is that the work needs to be done. People seem to be getting more serious. I'm talking to realtors literally like every day going through that, and buyers, they want it mitigated to reduce that objection a new buyer is going to have. So that's good. We're happy to help. And then egress windows, that's just been consistent. I would expect that to diminish. I would expect demand to go down, but we've been buried with that work. And we install them year round.
Oh, even in the middle of winter?
15 below, we're there.
Huh?
Really?
For real. Yeah, we have to heat the ground up. The guys get out there. It's slower. We're hauling the dirt back and forth, in the snow.
I've seen them eat the ground up. They all have to sit together in like a group
Yeah.
for hours to get that.
Hey,
to get it soft.
let's get back to our question. The one person you'd want to meet. Steve, who's your one person that you'd want to spend the day with?
I've been thinking about this nonstop since you
Yeah,
asked the question.
and you don't have to
Oh my
answer if
gosh.
you need a little more
Marilyn-
time.
No, I got it. It's Marilyn Monroe.
Oh yeah.
Marilyn Monroe.
I have a bunch of questions. There's
About Kennedy.
president.
And,
How'd you die? Like, what were a lot of questions.
Interesting.
yeah, that's a good one.
Was there a fan blowing up that one time in the street? Like, we don't know. I mean,
A lot of questions
Like,
on Steve.
Hey, it's so many questions.
That's
Oh
good.
boy. Okay, we're going back live on air. We're on Twin Cities News Talk AM 1130. If you got questions, comments, thoughts, please don't hesitate to pipe in. Who's your one person you'd want to spend the day with, living or dad? You got the chance. Here we go. Good morning.
I thought you dozed off or went into a short coma or something.
I knew Scott was. I was waiting for Scott. I was trying to keep it as long as possible, just to see what Scott's reaction was going to be there. I do like a little bit of journey, kind of nostalgic. Brings you a good vibes, good mood. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. We're here till 11 o'clock. Before we dive in to the question of the day, here I did have one other listing wanted to touch on. 1506 Hague Avenue. Scott, this is in St. Paul. Kurt Carlson with the Minnesota Real Estate Team and Remax Advantage Plus has this listed for $349,900. So $349,900, 4-bed, 2-bath. It's well maintained. It's an updated 4-bedroom home. It is got a beautifully landscaped lot in the Merriam Park neighborhood. It's a short walk to the shops, restaurants on Snelling and Summit. You will enjoy stepping out to the patio to enjoy the quiet space in the backyard. It's got a lot of the original beautiful woodwork with bookcases around the fireplace in the living room, built-in buffet. Relax and recharge, Kurt says, in the recently installed sauna. Fun. Recent updates include a new boiler, water heater, electrical, and we've got some additional photos coming very soon too. But a nice looking property, 1509 Hague Avenue, 349.9.
Very nice.
Yeah, nice one. Steve, we said the person that you want to spend the day with, living or dead, and who was your choice?
Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe. Tell us more.
Yeah, as I was mentioning before, I just have so many questions. Like, how did you really die? What went on with the Kennedys? And the picture with the dress, was there like a fan involved? How did you do that? There's so many questions.
Fun. That's a fun one.
Wasn't she married to like Joe DiMaggio too or something?
Yeah, she was.
It's like, yeah, what a life.
Yeah.
What a life. What a life indeed. Mike, we're going to give you a little time to think there.
Okay.
You
Good.
too. I don't know. Mike Dubs. I think Mike's got somebody right on the tip of his tongue. Mike, we got to throw it to you. Who's your one person? Who do you got? Babe Ruth.
That's a good one.
Babe Ruth. Say that again. He's smokes cigars, drinks, and plays baseball.
Well, we can do two of those.
Babe Ruth.
That's right.
Babe Ruth, that is a fun one. Again, if you're on social media or you're listening, comment with who's your one person. Who would you like? Or again, call us or text us 612-294-6949. Moving forward, again, what is going to happen? Mike, again, do you think interest rates are going to come down?
I think they're going to drift up a little bit more before they come down. But are they going to come down? Yeah, I think they'll eventually come down. I even think by the end of the year they're going to be lower than where they're at now. So I still think we got another month and a half or so of them hanging where they're at, maybe drifting up a little bit more. I think hopefully by the end of the year, consumer confidence will be higher, GDP will be turned around a little bit different because we got the holidays and stuff coming up here. So there'll be a bunch of retail sales and stuff going on. So I think, and the Feds are going to raise short-term interest rates at least 2 more times before the end of the year, which helps long-term rates come down. So,
Well, and we've got the midterms, and depending on how that goes,
we got an election too coming up.
Yeah, with depending on how that goes, there will be a lot more consumer confidence.
Are there elections coming up? Or
Yeah.
how about all the ads?
Oh, I
That's
know.
crazy.
How about the text? You guys getting those text messages too?
Yes,
Like,
golly, all the time.
What's the deal?
leave me alone.
What is the deal? It is the new thing. I mean, it is, it's hard to watch anything without being bombarded with, do this, vote this way, Scott.
I know. Yeah, it's but the text message things drive me crazy. I'm like, first of all, obviously there's ways to get your text message, but it used to be a sacred thing.
It was sacred.
You know,
It's no longer
It's
sacred.
no longer sacred. They broke through that barrier.
Texts are sacred. Mike, what do you think?
It's good.
Who's going to win, the Cardinals or the... So, by the way, we're talking text, random thought, but text messages used to be sacred. The new thing, okay, this is the new spammers, is they send you a note and they'll say, hi, is this Frank? Or it's something knowing it's not you. In other words, that, well, then you text back, well, no, this is not Frank, this is Ryan. And then they start kind of this whole conversation piece. I probably get 3 of those a day where, hey, is this Frank Rizzo, the owner of the bakery shop that I was at recently? Like something random. Are you guys seeing those?
To hook you in.
To hook you in. You start a discussion.
I like the ones that says, "Hey Scott, this is Jimmy. Can you handle 10 more listings in the next 3 months?" And I always text back and say, "No, Jimmy, I can't." It's just dumb. Can you handle 10 more listings? No, I can't. I can't handle 10 more listings.
Hey,
See,
listing.
Right.
Sorry, Steve.
Can I change the subject?
Yeah,
Ask you a
please.
Question?
Yes.
So Florida has had a lot been ravaged here recently.
Yes.
And I was just curious, is that an opportunity to go buy a home down there now?
Well, I mean, Florida, it is, we are actually, Remax Advantage Plus is actually, we're a licensed brokerage down in Florida. And I think from that standpoint, I don't know, what's your initial thoughts, guys, on that?
Oh, I mean, well, in the areas that were hit, I mean, I don't think so. I mean, you know, you have a river that overflows, and that's just regular water, and the damage that does. And you combine that with salt water and the damage that does, and houses being filled up to their second story. So I mean, if you were in an area that wasn't hit, I don't think it's going to change real estate that much in general. But if it's in the areas that like Fort Myers, and I mean, they just got pounded. I don't even know what you'd buy.
Yeah, I would say probably, in my opinion, probably no. I think they're having obviously a horrible situation that happened, but also just inventory wise, just crazy low inventory down there. There's just not a lot of stuff. And so values down in Florida, they've seen significant increases in some of these hot areas. Now, again, they may pull back. So it like went up 80%. It may come back 20 from the 80. But I don't know. Personally, I think people still love Florida, love Arizona. The demand seems to be there in spite of the horrible, this horrible event.
I wonder if Arizona property went up in value.
Maybe, yeah.
Well, I can tell you that it has in the last year. My daughter bought a house that was like 439 in Chandler, and her agent said it's probably worth 550 now. So yeah, it's about $100,000 in a year.
Marie said Marie Rivard, great agent. She said, "Good morning. I think I would like to spend the day with someone like Abraham Lincoln or some other presidential great."
Huh.
I like it. Mike, we got to ask Mike. Mike's thinking over there.
So my mind immediately went to like sports heroes, like, so I'm thinking Bo Jackson, Jerry Rice, Michael Jordan,
Yes.
All those. And then I was thinking, well, who do I know that likes to do the things that I do? Kind of like Mike Dubb says, right? So then I'm thinking Kid Rock, right?
Yeah, rock. that would be a good one.
I like rock music. He likes rock music. I like fishing. He likes fishing. He's from Michigan. I'm from the Midwest too there. So I think it'd be a good pair. I think we'd have a lot of fun together.
That would be a fun day.
Speaking of from the Midwest, again, random thought, but we went this week to see Charlie Berens, who is a kind of a Midwest comic. Are you familiar with?
Yes.
Yeah, he's an online guy down in Burnsville. It was a fun show. Charlie Berens. We're already at the 3/4 point here for the show. Again, 612-294-6949. Before the break, wanted to give a shout out. Joe Mack has got a listing in Blaine, 8626 Dunkirk. Their open house is happening right now from 10 to noon. And this one is listed for $489,000. It's a 5-bed, 3-bath home. It's got an updated style, turnkey. It's got a bonus room above the garage. The kitchen is sleek and modern, and the entire home, Joe said, provides a sense of comfort with open living space. Lower level was recently finished. Stunning walk-up bar, inviting fireplace with a walkout lower level. Plenty of options and space to work from home and enjoy. And there's a 240-volt outlet in the garage for easy electric vehicle setup if desired. 8626 Dunkirk Court Northeast. That's in Blaine. Joe Mack has that one listed, Remax Advantage Plus. This is the Minnesota Real Estate Show. Electric vehicle setup. How do you like that commentary? That's one of the first times I've heard that in the descriptions for your electric vehicles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Steve's thinking of getting one?
No.
You're not?
No. But I encourage others to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there won't be one in my future either.
Electric vehicles. If you have any other thoughts on who is your person, who do you want to meet? We got a lot of folks watching. Don't hesitate to comment if you've got someone living or deceased you want to spend the day with. Who is that person that you would want to spend with? But Scott, as we're looking forward here again, thoughts for buyers, sellers in our market?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with what Mike's saying. If you are a buyer right now, the next 3 months is always the best time to buy, not just this year. But because of the economic factors that Mike went over, it is going to be a really good time. And make no mistake about it, we're in a down market right now because it's the end of the year and we've had an increase in interest rates that happened, overnight. We still only have 9,000 homes on the market, and we're going to be going into spring, and I would say probably in the 7,000 to 7,500. That is going to be an aggressive selling real estate market. So if you're a buyer with not a house to sell, the next three months are your window. You get a good deal. You can negotiate everything from inspections to buy down points to closing costs, and you're still going to be appreciating going into next year. You don't want to compete in that market because it is going to be like this first 4 months of this year was an extremely aggressive market. Maybe not 35 offers, but there's going to be 5 to 10.
Yeah.
And people still get hung up with, well, I could have got this interest rate a year ago. Okay, well, in the 90s, I bought mine down a point to 9%. So
Yeah.
7.5 is pretty good, still deductible. And you got to give yourself perspective, I guess.
That's right.
So much of life is perspective.
It
It's
is.
hard though when it hits you quick, like your point, Scott. It happens
Yeah,
so fast.
so fast.
We're going back live on air. Again, we're on Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. For your questions, comments, thoughts, 612-294-6949. Looks like we had another question, Mike, here in regards to FHA. Can I do zero down on FHA?
No,
Okay.
no, you have to have 3.5% down on FHA. There's down payment assistance programs that can help you cover the 3.5% down, but if you're talking strictly FHA, no, there is no zero down on FHA. You got to have 3.5% down.
You can get the down payment gifted though to you, right?
You can, right? So
From who?
From family. So any immediate family member can gift you the money. So parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters.
Could a friend gift it to you?
I think in the FHA guidelines, it basically says, it describes like a friend of the family, a long-term friend of the family, but now it's up to you to document that you have that type of relationship with that person. Very tough to document that. So most of the time that doesn't fly with underwriting because you just can't prove it, if you will.
Here we go.
Kid Rock.
Look at my
That's Mike Overson in the background with Kid Rock.
That's part of my day with him, by the way.
Right there.
He's going to have a concert that night. I'm going to be on stage with him, singing with him or
Yes.
dancing, doing something.
Doing
up there.
something, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, are FHA loans assumable? Pete asked.
Yeah. FHA loans are assumable.
Who would do it? Why would you do it?
Well, I mean, if you got an FHA loan at 3%, a couple years ago, and you're looking to sell your house, that buyer can come in and assume that loan. Now they're assuming that loan amount as well. So if you bought a $250,000 house and put your 3.5% down, so let's say, you started at a loan amount of, $242, and then now you've paid that down to, let's say, $210. So you got a $210,000 loan balance. Well, if you're selling that house for $300,000 now, that buyer can assume the $210 loan that you have on there. They got to come up with the $90,000 to bridge the $210 loan amount that you have and the $300,000 sales price.
Okay.
That's usually the hurdle. Is like, I don't have the money to bridge that gap between what I'm buying it for and your existing loan amount, so I can't assume it. I'll have to get my own FHA loan so I can get a higher loan amount.
Hey, wanted to feature a listing. Ashley and Jared Hineker, awesome agents with the Minnesota real estate team, Remax Advantage Plus. Scott, they've got one. This is 3807 Conroy Trail, and they're having an open house. It's a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2-car garage, open from 2 to 3:30 p.m. It's listed for $275, and they say this is a completely remodeled home. It's a must-see. It's got brand new plumbing, electrical, a new garage door and opener, can lighting, sprayed ceilings, freshly painted throughout, all new LVP flooring, carpet, appliances, marble countertops, beautifully tiled bathrooms, 4-bed, 2-bath, and it's a great home for any family, they say. It walks out to a fenced-in patio and yard conveniently located within miles of all the shops, local brewery, and right off 52, Highway 52 and 494. $275. We don't see a lot of stuff with a 2 in front of it. That again is 3807 Conroy Trail. Check that one out.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. I was just thinking as we're talking about the market, Steve, in your business, I would think this market would actually be better in some cases where radon mitigation systems are getting worked into the deal. Issues in the basement that might not have even been looked at because they weren't going to have a home inspection now might be being revealed. Is that the case?
Well, we're certainly getting more phone calls from home inspectors. they're doing more inspections, waterproofing and water damage needs to be disclosed. So we're getting those sort of phone calls. And there's still people who are remodeling. And if you're going to remodel your basement, the first thing you need to do is make sure it's going to be waterproof correctly or properly. And when you install a radon system, little known fact here, Cliff Clavin.
We like those.
Yeah.
We like those here,
A
Steve.
little known fact is it dramatically reduces the humidity in the basement if you do a perimeter drain tile system. I mean, ridiculous reduction. Some people find they don't even need a dehumidifier. And the cost is fairly nominal to run it. And you go down to a basement, you get that stinky sort of old smell.
Yep.
Get rid of it. We can help with that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Hey, you learned something, Scott.
No, I mean, I knew about stinky basements. I just didn't know that radon systems made them less stinky.
Well, they need to be installed with a proper drain tile system, which we have that goes beside the footing, so it allows us to pull more air out before it gets into the basement.
Makes sense.
Had another comment of the person they'd like to spend time with, John F. Kennedy.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
John F. Kennedy. What do you think, Mike?
Sounds like not my first pick, but probably top five.
Yeah, I mean,
probably
yes,
top
yeah,
five.
John F. Kennedy and again Kid Rock, kind of the same thing. What's yours, Ryan?
You know what? I've been thinking about it. I've got to pick my this one. There's a lot of good choices. I would say probably my dear father, Dad. My dad died way too young. He was only 68. He kind of worked up to the day he died. As he would say, he was kind of a small town attorney in New Prague, but Dad helped a lot of people. Yeah, you know what? You just think about being able to spend one more day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's go to a game. We had outside of town, New Prague, we had a little place called The Farm. Dad bought this land, and we were growing up. We could go ripping around on like 3-wheelers or snowmobiles. So I think we'd go spend the day out at the farm, go hang out,
Yeah, that's a good one.
grab a little dinner in New Prague.
It would just suck having to say goodbye again.
That's true.
That would be tough.
That's true. Yeah,
Oh.
Grandpa Larry, Grandpa Larry.
Yeah, that would be our.
Kind of negative there.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a happy
Yeah.
sort of fun thing.
Well, when Tiger and I are done playing, I'm like, look, dude, see you later. But I don't want to have to say goodbye to Grandpa Larry again.
That's true. Very good point. Yeah, very good point. It's a fun question, though. It is a fun question. I know there's a lot of stress in the market. There's a lot of unease right now. Mike, people are kind of freaking out a little bit across the board. What can you do to kind of tell us to not freak out?
I'd say just don't freak out.
Yeah, and quit reading social media.
Yeah.
Oh,
my
man.
God, it's just I can't handle it. Everything is just gloom and doom, and it's like, oh my, it's just I call it. I won't name the guy. I won't name the guy's name, but I've never blocked anybody on Facebook. I blocked him because it is by noon he's posted 15. The housing market crashes and little houses sinking in the ocean, and statistics that are pulled from all these random places that aren't correct, and I'm like, just stop.
It is pretty depressing.
Yeah, I mean, but we've been here before.
Yeah.
We've been here on something like this. Now, everyone is, again, comparing it to 2007, 2008, which is completely different. That's not going to happen again. But, it's one of those things you kind of hunker down, and you do what's right for you, and you figure it out, and you make your way through it. And once we come out of this, where it's sunny skies for everyone.
Steve, what else should we know as we're heading to the home stretch about you and your fine company, good people at Standard Water?
Well, I think that when people think of remodeling their basement, it can be out there a while. I bet 5% of our sales take 5 years to close. Consider it. So, and it's okay to get information now because people don't understand what's it going to take to waterproof a basement properly. What's an egress window cost? So we give free estimates, and my top 6 guys who go out and do this, their average tenure is over 22 years.
Oh, wow.
It's not amateur hour. I mean, we're going to show up, and we actually only quote probably 8 out of 10 jobs because 2 out of 10 we can't do what they need. So it's true consultative advice. And so, yeah, we're available anytime online. Service at standardwire.com is an email, or just go to our website, standardwire.com. Same thing with egress windows or radon mitigation. And you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. I take phone calls all the time, just explaining costs and options. That's what I do. So,
You are a phone guy. You do a nice job with that. You can actually pick up.
well, I certainly have the phone voice or the radio voice. I'm radio friendly, right?
Right.
That's right.
So it is not TV friendly.
Hey, before we wrap up here, I did have one last listing here. Jan Rolfe. This is a duplex. If you're looking for a duplex, and it's in Northeast Minneapolis, Mike, the High Demand Art District. Description on this again, it's $400,000. It's 2654 California Street. It's a great investment opportunity. It's in the High Demand Art District. It commands strong rents, perfect for owner occupants or investors. Jan Rolfe says, awesome agent. She said it's practically a new home as the owner has replaced all the plumbing and electrical, over 200 amps, new roof and gutters in 2017. All the windows and furnace have been updated. 2022 new flooring, back and side yard, Scott, completely fenced in for pets, for your dog Starbucks and small children. Walk to the craft breweries, trendy restaurants, old school supper clubs in Northeast Minneapolis. Check that out, 2754 Northeast. Duplexes, there's not many of them, guys.
There isn't.
I think the duplexes are awesome. I think that's the property to get. If you can get one, get one.
Yeah, especially as a first-time home buyer.
FHA, so can you use FHA buying that?
FHA, 3.5% down. Buy the duplex. You can use the rental income from the other unit to help qualify. You have the rental income from the other unit to help wash out your payment. I mean, the duplexes are awesome. I think it's the best property type out there.
Yeah, the 2-unit, you can do FHA up to, is it 4-unit properties?
Up to 4-unit properties, yeah.
So you can own or occupy a duplex, 3-unit, a 4-plex. Really good stuff. Scott, last thoughts before the break or before the show ends?
No, just again, just appreciate everybody tuning in every weekend. Like we've been talking all show. If you are not selling a house right now and you're just buying, it is a great time to buy over the next 3-4 months before we hit the spring market. So just get active.
Yep. Steve, any last thoughts for folks?
Well, Mike, you mentioned good time to buy in the next 90 days. It's the same thing with anything in the contracting world. This is when it slows down. I don't care what you're doing. So if you are considering any sort of waterproofing, radon mitigation, foundation repair, egress windows, or radon, this is the time to sign up and get the work done. We work 24/7 or 365 days.
Yeah, great job. Mike, last thoughts?
Yeah, don't let the media sway your thoughts on what's going on out there. It's not doom and gloom. We're fine. Everything's fine.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest, reach out to the Minnesota Real Estate Team. We'd love to help you. We've got agents all over the Twin Cities. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care. Thanks for joining us. Wilson commented, "I love duplexes, 4-plexes, sunny skies for everyone." Great line. I love it. A lot of good comments, questions. Hey guys, nice show.
Yeah,
Nice work.
You
Nice
too, Ryan.
topic.
Appreciate it, everybody.
We'll be back next Saturday, everybody. Enjoy the fall day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.